Okay, so
Yes.
oh, you said
Okay.
you got the preview.
Okay. And we are live now. Okay. Welcome everybody to my eighth live stream, um, where it's gonna be a simple cartoon discussion, and my guest here is a very knowledgeable a vlogger by the name of Ronyell. Uh, how about you introduce yourself to the audience, Ronyell?
Yes, I'm Ronyell, and I actually do a YouTube channel called Rabbitearsblog where I talk about movies and TV shows and video games, and I do reviews of all types of movies and video games. I also have this new series called Reviews 2.0 where I go do the in-depth reviews of all the movies and TV shows and video games I have sat down and watched and played. And then I have a second channel called Animation Bliss where I mainly talk about animation, and on that channel I talk about cartoon reviews, and I also do news about the animation world, such as animated news. So that's what I basically do on both of my channels, Rabbier's Blog and Animation Bliss.
Yes, excellent. And the way I discovered you was actually oh, wait a minute, I think I can hear my voice playing back. Wait,
Oh,
yeah, in fact I hear it echoing a bit.
oh,
Wait, I'm not sure if it's on your end or my end.
okay.
Okay.
Am I echoing on your side?
Uh, no, I think so. Just that our talking was repeating itself, but I'm not hearing it anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
Ronyell, the way I the way I found you was when you were doing a video on basically doing the history of Nickelodeon. That was some time ago. You remember that?
Oh yeah, the history of Nickelodeon video I did way back, I think 2012 or something. It was like one of my earlier videos I did, and I was thinking about doing like a new commentary series about that because a lot has changed on Nickelodeon since then. But yeah, I have done the history of Nickelodeon video on my main channel, Rabbier's blog. So please feel free to check it out if you want to.
Yes. And I just want to say hi to some people. Um, yes, Dexter the Nostalgia Toonster. This is Ronyell from Rabbit Ears Blog and Animation Bliss, who's joining me for this discussion. And also welcome Just Love and Life and Moonchild. Okay, so the main focus of this discussion is I know Rodiel on her channel Animation Bliss. She does a series of videos called Obscure and Underrated Cartoons, where it's exactly what it says on the title, where she reviews some cartoons that don't get as much recognition, even though, and for some reason or another, they could, right?
Yes, like some cartoons could get some recognition, depending on how exposed it was on the internet or how many people know about it. But most of the cartoons that I reviewed there are cartoons that are pretty obscure or underrated, or cartoons that a lot of people have never talked about.
Yes. And and as some of you may know, that I personally am a huge advocate for underrated and obscure cartoons. In fact, you could find one of my recent, well, it's kind of 6 months old, but it's a video on my top 10 favorite criminally underrated cartoons, where I count them down, briefly review them, and so speed paint footage of me drawing them as I discuss them. So you could check that out to pretty much see which ones that I think are the most underrated. But I want to ask Ron Yao of the few, I'm sorry, of the shows that you reviewed that fall into the obscure and underrated category. talk about some of your absolute favorites.
There was this one obscure animation that I reviewed on my channel called Heidi Song, and it was one that was created by Hanna-Barbera years ago, and it's like from the same company who did Charlotte's Web, but
Right.
it's like an adaptation of Heidi, and a lot of people never really talked about this particular movie because even though Charlotte's Web was very well known, a lot of people don't know much about Heidi Song, and I really like Heidi Song because the animation was very beautiful there, and I was actually surprised that Hanna Barbera was responsible for doing the animation for that. And it is a shame that it doesn't get a lot of recognition because if you're a huge fan of Heidi in general or you just love good animation, I definitely recommend checking out Heidi's Song.
Okay. I haven't seen either Heidi's Song or the Hanna-Barbera adaptation of Charlotte's Web. Like, when it comes to Charlotte's Web adaptations, I've only seen the live-action film that Nickelodeon did, or released in 2006.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I haven't seen the live action version yet, but I have seen the original animated version, and that's another version I really enjoyed watching when I was little.
Yeah, and there's also a sequel to it, a direct-to-video sequel called Wilbur's Great Adventure. I haven't seen that yet either.
Um, I seen that movie years ago, and I thought it was okay. Like it's the usual Nickelodeon type of show you see. Like has a lot of kid humor there, but I thought it was an okay sequel. Like it's not as good as the first movie, but it was an okay sequel to Charlotte's Web.
Yeah, and I just briefly look into the chat. Dexter, the Nostalgia Toonster, is naming some obscure Hanna-Barbera shows like Frankenstein Jr. and the Impossibles, and Goober and the Ghost Chasers, and Josie and the Pussycats, and Adam Ant and Dynamite, and others. Of the ones that he's listed, I've only seen Josie and the Pussycats and Adam Ant. Um, they're kind of on the forgettable side, but they were harmless uh, regardless. And I know Goober and the Ghost Chasers is the most blatant of the Scooby-Doo knockoffs. Have you seen any of these shows, Ronyell?
I've only seen like Adam Ant and Josie and the Pussycats. I haven't seen the others. I haven't even heard of Goober until I watched this video about all the Scooby Doo knockoff clones, and they were talking about Goober there. And I was like, I never knew the show was a Scooby Doo knockoff clone. Like I've seen a lot of Scooby Doo knockoff clones. Um, I can't think of the names right now, but there was like a lot of Scooby Doo knockoff clones. I think Jabba Jar was one of them, and that's another underrated Hanna Barbera show. I think.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people know about Jabba Jar as being like a Scooby Doo knockoff, except it has a shark instead of a dog in the main animal role. But yeah, the rest of those shows that were listed, I haven't seen
okay,
those yet,
yeah,
except
okay,
for Adam and Josie and the Pussycats.
yeah. Yeah, I saw some of Jabberjaw, and it's 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 slightly it's slightly it's slightly enjoyable. I do like how the main character himself he talks like very fine from the Three Stooges. Like Jabberjaw was doing very fine impressions cooler before Stempy did it with Ren and Stempy back in 1990.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I like how he sounded like one of the Three Stooges too. I thought that was really unique for Jabba Jars.
Yes.
So I did enjoy Jabba Jar for what it was.
Uh-huh. Any other obscure shows you love?
There was also Cats Don't Dance. I think that one's kind of obscure. Like I know a lot of people in the animation community do know about Cats Don't Dance, but
Yes.
that's another movie that I thought was very underrated. I thought it was really well animated, and I like the story about how the animals were trying to get to Hollywood, but they couldn't get the big roles because they were animal characters and they were regulated to side characters. And I like how Danny in that movie was trying to encourage all the other animals to like become big stars despite all the odds stacked against them. So I really enjoyed Cats Don't Dance, and I wish that movie got more attention.
Yeah. I don't recall ever watching it itself, but it does look really charming. The most that I know about it is well, it's from the creator, well, not the creator, but the director of The Emperor's New Groove, which is kind of underrated in its own right. And I know that Cats Don't Dance was kind of screwed over by Warner Brothers Family Entertainment. They didn't market it well, and therefore it bombed at the box office hard. And it also killed off the Turner feature animation department. Well, maybe not killed off because it pretty much was uh, absorbed into Warner Bros. Feature animation. Around that time, they were also doing The Iron Giant and Quest for Camelot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I remember watching The Iron Giant years ago, and I've heard a lot of people praise the film. Like I've seen it before, and I thought it was a pretty good film. Like it's been a while since I've seen that film, so I don't really remember much about it. But I do remember liking it when I was little, and I like the story, and I like how the boy was like trying to connect with the Iron Giant, and that's what I really liked about the Iron Giant.
yeah. Oh, just want to welcome Somos Portugal to the live stream. Thank you for enjoying us so far. Okay. Uh, one more underrated obscure cartoon you want to talk about before we move on?
This one's like a Nickelodeon show, but there's a Nicktoon called As Told by Ginger,
Yes.
and it's a Nicktoon that I really enjoyed. But a lot of people don't really talk about it, and I'm guessing because the show was too serious and compared to the other Nicktoons at the time. Like when you compare it to shows like Hey On and Rugrats, which have some humor to it, but they also talk about like real life issues in a way. And with As Told by Ginger, a lot of people don't seem to talk about it, despite being one of the most realistic Nicktoons out there and having like one of the best writing I've seen in any Nicktoon during that time.
Yes, and you know what? I'll pretty much spoil this opinion, even though some of my subscribers already know this. But As Told by Ginger is my number one pick for the most criminally underrated cartoons. I've been a fan of it for almost 6 years now, and and it did help me appreciate what it has to offer in terms of its writing and its characters. It does a good job at getting you to feel for these cartoon characters.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. Like I like how they wrote Ginger and her friends, and they made Courtney to such a complex character because she's like the popular girl, but she's more friendly towards Ginger than what you would expect from a show about a popular character being friends with an unpopular character. So I like what they did with Courtney and Ginger's relationship in that show, and I like how they show that sometimes friends do betray each other in that series, which was really surprising because you don't see a lot of kids shows do that, like having friends betray each other. And this show actually went into depth with that, and appreciate it for that.
yeah, yeah. I agree with that. So just so just before we move on, uh, I want to talk about Uh, I remember I requested for your obscure and underrated cartoon series to review a show called O'Grady, and that's another one of my top picks for the most underrated show that should be talked about. Like, it's from the people who did shows like Home Movies and Dr. Katz, which some would argue those are underrated as well, but they're not necessarily super obscure. But O'Grady, what I really like about it is, and I know I think you agree with me as well, the how creative it is, with each episode focusing on a different execution of the weirdness that goes around the town of O'Grady that affects the students at the school.
Yes, that's what I like the best about the show is that like the show is like basically about these kids going through the weirdness, and they go through all these different situations like having clones in themselves, or like having, and I like how the weirdness is able to like affect their daily lives and still get into whatever problems they're facing, like if they're trying to like do this project where they're trying to take care of a baby doll or something like that, or they're trying to get a date with somebody. I like how the weirdness like wraps up into that, and that's what made the show so creative.
Yes, I agree. And just to answer Dexter the Nostalgia Toonster's comment about Cree Summer voicing a character in As Told by Ginger, but he doesn't remember the name. Her name is Miranda Kilgallen, and she's pretty much the main antagonist of the show. Although I personally think Dodie Bishop, supposedly Ginger's best friend, is a much more unlikable character.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I actually kind of like Miranda. Well, sometimes I like Miranda. I know she's like the bully and she's mean to Ginger throughout the show, but at least she's open about it instead of Dodie, who's kind of like she's Ginger's friend, but then she does some things behind Ginger's back, and that's what makes me not really like her character that much because of that. Because at least with Miranda, she's like more open towards Ginger about her hatred of her, so I can get by with that. And she's voiced by Cree Summer, and I love Cree Summer, so
Me
that's
too.
why I can tolerate Miranda.
Yes, Kree's
So
snarky performance that she gives for Miranda is perhaps the most charming thing about that character.
yeah, despite her being the bully.
Yes, and Dexter also asks about any obscure Disney films and TV shows. Well, for me personally, the most underrated cartoon from Disney is definitely Void in Space from the people who did Recess. I personally prefer Void in Space over it. It's been one of my childhood staples, and I just like the execution of growing up, entering adolescence only with a space alien theme to it. Have you seen that show, Ronyell?
I saw like bits and pieces of it when I was growing up. Like I do like how it's kind of similar to Recess in terms of like these kids going on these adventures and getting into trouble. So I did like that aspect of the show, and it is a shame that a lot of people don't talk about Lord in Space that much. But
I
yeah, I
know, like the
find that to
most,
be a pretty decent show.
yeah, the when it comes to Void in Space, the most that people talk about it is the one episode where this non-binary alien, uh, trying to decide by the age of 13 if it wants to be a boy or a girl. So Void and his friends try to get that character to do some boy stuff, while Brittany and her team of friends try to get that alien to do some girl stuff. So it's pretty much yeah, that's the most well-known episode of Void in Space, which is called Neither Boy nor Girl.
Okay. I don't remember that episode that much, but
Yeah,
I can see why it was very well known. Like I think, yeah.
yeah. Okay, so uh, just to move on to the other thing regarding cartoons, I want us and Ronyell to talk about is since we've been in lockdown for a few months now, and one of the most popular activities is to binge watch cartoons. So I'd like to know from Ronyell, what are some of the shows that she has been binging during this lockdown?
Like I've been binging a lot of shows. Like I have been watching this new series called H2O Mermaids. It's like an animated adaptation of H2O Mermaids, Mako Mermaids. Like that was a live action series, but this series
Right.
H2O Mermaids is like the animated adaptation, and I have been enjoying it. Like I think it's a good adaptation of the live action series, and I've been watching that show for a while now. But that's one of the cartoons I've been watching.
That's cool. And any more before I move on to which ones I've been watching?
I also watched this new anime series called Beast Stars. I actually did a review about it on my main channel, on my channel Animation Bliss, and I really like that show. Like it's like Zootopia, except it's like an anime format, and it's a lot darker and edgier than what Zootopia is. Like it's basically about these animal characters going to school together, and the carnivores are being accused accused of all the crimes that's going on in the city where a lot of herbivores are being killed. And then the meat of the story is that you have this rabbit named Haru and this wolf named Legato who fall in love with each other, and they're
Right.
trying to figure out how they can make their relationship work despite the fact that one's a rabbit and one's a wolf. And I really liked how the show was able to approach the prejudice that the carnivores have with the herbivores.
Yeah, I saw Beastars a couple months ago myself on Netflix. It's a charming little anime. I would have to rewatch it to get every single important moment that happens in it. But I have seen all of the episodes basically, and I do like it. I am a mild casual fan of it myself.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
I think
Dexter.
that's all I've watched so.
Oh, what was that?
Hmm?
Oh,
I think
what?
that's all the cartoons I've watched so far. I've been binging on Netflix and those.
Okay, and Dexter the Nostalgia Toonster asks if anybody remembers Gadget Boy. Actually, I haven't seen that show yet, but all I know is that it's uh, it's a spin-off of Inspector Gadget. But I can't remember if Gadget Boy is an entirely different character from Inspector Gadget himself, or if it's supposed to be a younger version of him. I can't remember the full story behind it. But have you seen that show, Ronyell?
Yeah, I've actually watched Gadget Boy a few times when I was little. Like I only seen like a few episodes here there, and I don't remember the show much. All I know is that it's sort of like Inspector Gadget, where Gadget Boy goes on these missions to stop the criminals, and he's being assisted by this lady who helps him out with these missions. And that's pretty much all I remember about Gadget Boy. But I do remember watching it a bit when I was little.
Yeah, that's good. And Dexter also asks any favorite Hanna-Barbera superhero TV show. Well, me, I do like the 1966 Space Ghost series. Well, mostly for the purposes of watching how those characters originally were before they were moved to the world of talk shows with Space Ghost Coast to Coast many decades later. And I do like to spot out the specific animation cells that they would reuse over and over again on Coast to Coast. Uh, but other than that, Space Ghost 1966 is decent, and I did watch one episode of Birdman, the original Harvey Birdman cartoon, before he became an attorney at law, and it was fine as well. Do you have any favorite Hanna-Barbera superheroes, Ronyell?
Um, I'm I'm not sure if this counts as a superhero show, but I did watch Johnny Quest a lot when I was little, and I like how Race and those try to go on this mission and try to fight off all these bad guys. It was something that my parents used to watch a lot, and I used to watch this show a lot with them. So I do remember Johnny Quest a lot, and I also remember watching a few episodes of Space Ghost, the original series, before Space Ghost Coast to Coast came out. But I did watch the original Space Ghost series, and I enjoyed that too. So those are some of my favorite superhero Hanna Barbera cartoons that I
Yeah.
could think of.
Just remember that the Powerpuff Girls technically counts as one as well, since the first four seasons were made at Hanna-Barbera. So that would be my actual favorite Hanna-Barbera superhero show.
Same here. I love the Powerpuff Girls. I used to watch that show all the time when it first came out. Like my favorite character from that show was Bubbles because I just love how cheerful she is and how cute she is. And I
Yes.
also like the dynamic between the girls themselves and the professor. And it was like one of the cartoons I used to watch a lot when I was little, and it was like my absolute favorite cartoon of that decade.
Yes. And Bubbles is my favorite Powerpuff Girl as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, and so to talk about the shows that I've been binging, well, it's not really a show per se, but is a series of classic sorts, none other than Looney Tunes. Even though I like streaming, I still like to watch things the old-fashioned way, like on physical media, in this case DVDs. So I was binge watching some Daffy and Porky cartoons on my Golden Collection Volume 1, and I could say right now, and I don't think I can't recall where I mentioned this before, but my favorite Looney Tunes short is Duck Amuck, hands down.
Oh, oh yes. I think I own a Looney Tunes Golden Collection short too, and I haven't been binge watching Looney Tunes lately, but I do remember watching a lot of Looney Tunes shorts when I was little. There was this one Looney Tunes short I remember that stood out to me called Chow Hound, and it was
Yes,
like about this dog who was abusing the cat and the mouse. And I remember the ending where the dog got so fat because he was eating all that meat, and the cat and the mouse came in, and they were like, "This time we
this
didn't
time we
forget the
did forget the
gravy," and they ended
gravy.
up giving the dog the gravy. Yeah. And I was like really shocked by that ending.
Yeah, I know. And as far as streaming shows go, on Disney Plus, I watched the series that Walt Disney Animation Studio started called Zenimation. Basically, it's just each episode is just a montage of scenes from Disney films, only it's just sound effects that we hear, and they seem to be, for the most part, the actual sound effects that they use in the films. So it's just a series of peaceful imagery, like scenes of flying and scenes with water and scenes with that show off towards cityscapes and landscapes. Uh, like if you have Disney Plus, I recommend you check it out. For those who really admire the artistry of Disney animation, both visually and in terms of the sound as well.
I currently don't have Disney Plus, even though I really wanted to, because I think they're showing some classic shows on there. Like one of the shows they were showing on there is The Proud Family, and that was a show I used to watch a lot when I was little. Now I would like to watch The Proud Family again, to be reintroduced to that show again. And
Yes,
then I wanted to watch Kim Possible. I'm not sure if Disney Plus has Kim Possible on there. They
they do.
probably do, but that's another. Oh, okay, that's great.
Yes,
But yeah, that's definitely another show I want to rewatch because I used to watch those two shows a lot when they first came out.
yeah. Uh, okay, just a few more minutes before we wrap up. I just want to acknowledge Dexter's comment about Looney Tunes back in action accounted as an obscure cartoon. Well, it's not a household name or the same cult classic as Space Jam, but uh, and I know it was a huge bomb at the box office, but Looney Tunes Back in Action isn't too forgotten, and on its own, in terms of how much uh, dedication it shows to the characters, the classic characters, it is slightly more respectful than Space Jam, but personally, overall, I enjoy Space Jam just a little bit more, but Looney Tunes Back in Action is still awesome in its own right. What are your thoughts, Ronyell?
I've seen Looney Tunes back in action too, and I thought it was an okay movie. Like me personally, I like Space Jam more because I grew up with Space Jam,
Same
and even
here.
though Looney Tunes back in action had the Looney Tunes, yeah, and even though Looney Tunes back in action had the Looney Tunes acting more like their usual shelves in their cartoon series, I still like Space Jam more only because the story was a little better there. I think like with Looney Tunes back in action, I couldn't really understand the story for the most part. Like it was like all over the place. But I do like how wacky the tone was compared to Space Jam. But yeah, I also think that Looney Tunes Back in Action might not count as underrated per se because it has Looney Tune characters in it, and a lot of people, if you're a fan of Looney Tunes, will probably heard about Looney Tunes Back in Action at some point. But
Yeah,
yeah, I did think that Looney Tunes Back in Action is a pretty decent film that has the Looney Tunes go back to the roots, even though again I prefer Space Jam a little more.
yeah, B2. And okay, so I know this has been a short and sweet conversation thus far, but we're gonna have to wrap it up. So uh, tell the audience what you've anything you'd like to plug, Ronyell, before we leave.
Oh, tell the audience about what's going on with my channel.
Yeah, what are you working on? What do you want to promote?
For my main channel, Rabbitearsblog, blog, I am currently working on the Reviews 2.0 series, and I'm doing this thing called the July monthly movie vote, where I'll let the audience vote on what cartoons, well, what movies you want me to review next reviews for the Reviews 2.0 series. And you can check out the nominees and on my channel, like the videos listed up on my channel, and it's under July monthly movie vote. So if you want to vote on the movie I should review next for my next Reviews 2.0 video, you can go on ahead to my main channel, Rabbitears Blog. And on Bliss, I am planning to reviewing The Midnight Gospel down the line. That's a show that was worked on by Pendleton Ward, I believe, who also did
Yes,
Adventure Time, and I'm planning to watch that show down the line just to see what it's like. And I'm also planning to do some reviews of other cartoon shows like Fantastic Planet. I might give that a rewatch again just to see how it holds up all these years. But I do have some more cartoon reviews coming up soon on Animation Bliss, and that's what's going on my two channels so far.
that's great. And for easy accessibility, you could go to Ronyell's YouTube channels, Rabbit Ears Blog and Animation Bliss, by looking at the description to this live stream, and you could check her out. And I know she's currently reaching a goal of 300 subscribers. Is that right?
Yes. On Animation Bliss, I'm reaching the goal of reaching 300 subscribers, and I'm up at 291 subscribers at the moment, so I'm getting very close to the goal. And when we reach 300 subscribers, I am planning to do an animated video to celebrate the occasion. And then on my main channel, Rabbiteers Blog, we're trying to reach a goal of 500 subscribers, and we're up at 487 subscribers at the moment. And I'm planning to do a special shout out video once we reach over 500 subscribers on my main channel. So that's what's going on with the subscriber count on both channels.
Yeah. Well, I personally hope that on both channels you reach up to 1,000 subscribers. Just keep doing what you do,
Yes.
and make sure you get better at your craft, so your videos could blow up more, because you do have some good
Yes.
opinions and
Yes.
some good knowledge
I'm
as
definitely
well.
trying to reach up to 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. I definitely would like to reach up to 1,000 subscribers if I could. That would be a big time goal for me for this year. So any followers would be gladly appreciated for both of my channels.
great. And I wish the best for you, Ronyell. Make sure that you stay safe out there and enjoy doing what you love to do. Talk about cartoons like a lot of us here. And hope to bring you on my live stream
Thank
again
you,
very soon and sometime in the future.
thank you so much. I really enjoyed being here.
Excellent. You take care now.
Thank you. You take
Okay.
care too. I'll see you
Yes.
later.
Goodbye. And I'll see you guys next week as well. Uh, on this Wednesday, I'm gonna be doing a Q&A. So if you have any questions for me, well, it's gonna be a live Q&A, so you don't necessarily have to write down in the comments to this, but uh, you could just make a note to yourself of what you'd like to ask me for my live Q&A on Wednesday. So with that being said, this is DJ signing out. Thank you for enjoying the live stream,